Video, I want to talk about a subject that I'm rather fond of, and that is design thinking, or the things that you need to think about in order to end up with a good design. Now, I hope you'll forgive me because the world of IT is full of acronyms, most of which are horribly meaningless, but I thought I'd invent one of my own, and I hope it will help people remember the stages of thinking about design. The acronym that I've come up with is called B Gates, a somewhat tongue-in-cheek reference to, yes, one of the great builders of the IT industry, Bill Gates. Let's see if the acronym works for you. So B Gates is basically a process that I go through every time I design somebody's website or web application. And it stands for B, no, it's not for Bill, it's for budget. And I've snuck in timeline there because unfortunately Bill Gates was not considerate enough to have a middle name starting with T, but we work with the material we have. So B for budget and timeline, G for goals, A for audiences, T for tasks, E for environments, and S for systems. Let me show you about that. Budget and timeline, I think, is reasonably self-explanatory. Goals. How will you know it's succeeded? Often a good way to start thinking about the goals of something is to say, once you've done, what do you want to overhear people saying about what you've achieved? But also, how will you measure what you've achieved? In order to achieve those goals, you will need to engage your audiences. So who are these people? What are the tasks or processes that you need to guide them through? Where will they be when they are using the system? And what devices will they tend to use? And you and your staff. Okay, so let's look a bit further at how people often go about designing a website. And I'm going to show you why I think it can often be the wrong way. One of the more reassuring sort of processes you can use is a category-based approach. And that is, you know, you've got a whole load of content. And so you think, we've got to organize this content. So you think of categories. And then you start putting stuff in the category boxes. So you'll think, okay, I'm going to pop that one under this category. I'm going to pop that one here. Oh, there's another one that goes there, and so on. And then you end up with something that looks nicely organized, and we're all pleased, the world is orderly, and here we have an information design. And then you realize, oh, actually, we've got a whole bunch more content. So we stack it in. And yes, it still goes quite neatly into the categories, but, you know, it's getting quite big now. And then, oh, but there's all this other content that we have. We just generate heaps of content. And it's at this point that your website becomes compactus.com. It becomes the online thing that is busting at the seams, and it has so much stuff in it that people do not know how to find what they need to find. So what I'm going to suggest to you is, yes, I'm not going to say that category-based organization is useless. It has a very important role. But I'm going to suggest, when you think about your audiences and your content, that you think about a task-based approach. And these tasks will be framed in really, really simple ways. Like, you want somebody to make a donation. You want them to sign up for something. You want to make sure that they see an important update. So basically, when you have a task-based approach, you start to realize you don't need compactus.com. What you need is to identify, okay, to do this task, the person that I am serving needs specific content. They don't need the whole box and dice. They just need a few things. And so then you start to look at your website as a vehicle that is in fact managing processes rather than a repository for a heap of content. So the thing when you're managing tasks, what you think about is what is the practical minimum that you need to tell a person in order to make them successful in doing that task. If you tell them too little, they get anxious or confused. If you tell them too much, they find it hard to see what is the substantial thing that they should be looking at. So you provide content at the point of need as they go through process. Then in thinking about our audiences, we also, as well as the tasks that they need to perform, that we want them to perform and we want them to find easy, we need to ask ourselves, when they're using our website, where are they likely to be? Are they in an office? Are they at home? Are they in a field somewhere? Are they in a busy shopping mall? Where are they? Are they relaxed? Are they stressed? Are they under pressure, or can they explore at leisure? Does the content they look at need to be private? So in thinking about our audiences, if people are at the front of your mind, then you will end up with a great website. The real advantage also of designing in this way is if you think through what are the goals, what do our audiences need to achieve, what are the tasks we need to manage for them to achieve that, where are they, and what systems are they using? Are they using a desktop computer, a laptop computer? Are they using an iPad? Are they using a mobile phone? Out of that thinking, you develop your usability tasks. Now, usability is something that I will be talking about at greater length in another video, but the important thing is the way you do usability, quite simply, is you ask a member of your target audience to do the tasks that you are hoping they will be able to complete through your website. So you end up with a one-to-one relationship between goals, the audiences, the tasks, the environments, and the systems, and the means by which you validate whether you are actually offering those in a way that people can use easily and find happy and comfortable in their actions. If this has been helpful, please follow the link below to stay in touch, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.